Hey everybody, it's Micah from BearHart Outdoors, and today I'll be bringing you a review of something located in the frame right now. Stay tuned and I'll tell you what it is. Did you figure out what it is? Not Woodstock. Not the water bottle. It's gonna be this stick. I'm kidding. Today is actually an outdoor arena review of the LTWK Jessmuk, designed by Chris Tanner over at PM 101. Very popular knife. There've been a lot of videos on it already. I'm just giving my take on it, and like I said, this has gone through several members in the outdoor arena already. And I will say one thing that I usually don't say up front about the knives is that this one has a very good sized handle. Say what I say about most knives, could be a little bit bigger around, but that's just me. Ergonomics on this handle are very impressive, but I'll get more to that later, and I'll probably say ergonomics again. First off, just want to show you the sheath a little bit. Wonderfully made leather sheath. Dangler, and then you can wear it as on your belt as well, which is what I've been doing. It's the middle of summer, so most of my clothes are light. I prefer to wear it a little bit higher, but in the winter with a jacket or anything like that, I definitely like to have a dangler, so I love that this can be both. It does have some lashing points if you wanted to lash it to something, and a ferro rod loop. It rides very deep. Although I find it's just enough to grab and get about 2 fingers on to grab to draw it. Although I have had a lanyard on it for my time using it, I just took it off for the review. I like having a lanyard on it. It just gives you a little bit more to pull and draw out when you're going to get it out of the sheath. But very good sheath. I mean, I'm not going to shake it. It's not wet formed or anything. Wet forming will make it fit better, but it has very good retention in it, and I thought this would be a great knife to do it with, because I mean, hey, it's a bushcraft knife, right? You can't even see me. I'm sitting down here. Still can't see me because I'm off frame, but I'm practicing. Right now, I'm just using this part of the belly. I find that it's really easy just to dig in with that part, and I'm just spinning the stick around and slicing in through the stick. Yeah, there's easier ways to do this, but I actually just like that cutting. It's really easy. As you can see, it's ringed very easily through that. I mean, it's just an easy way to cut the stick. I don't have to baton, I don't have to do anything else. Just kind of want to show spark factor. I like using this part. You can use any part you like because the whole spine is sharp. As you can see, wow, it's showing up really bright on the camera. It'll throw some sparks. It's a pretty good size piece of wood. We'll start off on the small side of it though. This has a nice knot right there. I'm gonna see if I can just catch the corner over, get to that. Reposition just a little bit. Just nicked the knot. I'm gonna show. This knife is so sturdy. I can pull it all I want. It is down in that wood, and the wood is giving before the knife is. I mean, is this coming off? As the plank goes. Even when the wood is just a little bit too big for your knife to span, you can always just make a little wedge. Yes, that's some kid walking around with an air horn. Just in case you're wondering what that background noise is today. I do like that it's easy just to kind of mix and match in here. A lot of knives, once you get a pattern, you know, you kind of stay at that thickness. This one, with just the Scandi grind, the angle that the grind is done on it, I find it very easy just to go a couple of thin ones and then push in for a heavier one. And I like that when you're starting the fire because the small ones catch, and then the larger ones, of course, catch right as well. So the small ones catch the spark and light up, and then you got a little bit of a longer flame because the big ones too. So, of course, I don't always make feather sticks. A lot of times I just make a pilot tinder. I don't usually leave them attached to the stick. But if you're actually going to leave them attached to the stick, that is something that I like to do, is do a couple of thick ones and then just get some little fine ones in there too. Usually what mine look like at the end of the time anyways. Just a pile of tinder. This is a piece of that hickory that I just batoned off. We gotta finish it. Gotta finish it. Just wanted to show, if I can get it to focus, that's the hickory I just cross baton through. So I mean, it was not really a small piece. You saw me, I had to work at it, but it just cleaved through there. Now I know there's better ways to get through wood, and there's better tools, but in the spirit of using what you have, I'll show the thickness here. I mean, this is a wide blade. As you can see, it's almost as thick. It's hard to see. I can see it. There you go. It's almost as thick as the base of the blade there. Just want to get a close-up. No chips, a little bit dirty. No rolling. And like I said, I didn't sharpen this. Just dropped it when I got it. And it didn't get a whole lot easier than that. Like I said, this is in cherry. It's the notch I use commonly in doing traps. And then this is the one I like to use for tent pegs. I think I was trying to say spikes and pegs at the same time. Just because it gives that little bit of loop. Get in here with this little bit of an angle for the rope to hold in. See, it just does beautifully. Something I noticed with firmer vegetables like an apple or a cucumber is that something that I noticed with thinner or with firmer vegetables or fruits like an apple per se is that the scandy grind just tends to push through it instead of cutting it. It'll just kind of pop it apart when it gets up to the thicker part of the blade. No, I don't normally skin my squash. Just squash is what I'm working with today, so I wanted to show the dexterity of the knife, I guess. I don't think dexterity is the right word, but that's what we're going with today. Especially right up here, you got a good grip on the knife. The blade is thin right here, so it's not like you're trying to control the wide part. It's very easy to do finer tasks with the little narrow portion of the blade here. Now, this is something I haven't actually used the blade for, but I imagine that you're rocking cuts with it, and they are. The rocking cuts are really easy because of the shape of the blade. So are your draw cuts. Sorry, getting my hand in the way there. So are the draw cuts, because that belly just kind of lets you line up where you're wanting to go, and then you drag the front part of the belly across what you're doing there. Alright, this is after everything I've done with the knife. All the wood you've seen me baton through, all the notching, all the splitting, even some cross batoning, and you know that extremely difficult to slice squash. So I haven't touched it up at all since I did any of that. Let's see, I mean, it could use a little bit of sharpening, but there we go. That's acceptable. Alright. I like taking, like I said, this part of the belly, because when you push forward with it, it just goes into the deeper part of the knife. And that just makes it really easy for stock removal. It does have a Scandi grind on it, which is excellent for woodwork. And you see just a couple of swipes, and I mean, that is not focused. It's just clean, it's flat, it's just a nice smooth end there. Not what I'm doing just yet, but easy stock removal. Belly just makes it so easy to do. And for the life of me, I can't remember what that is called, that type of chip, but I use that in a lot of notch things I do. You'll make another notch and you can stick it into something like that. So it's very easy to do. And that just took a couple of seconds. I mean, that's smooth, that is nice. I like using this to do tasks like that with. The belly is just really easy to do push cuts with. Just rock it a little bit. Look at that, I'm almost the whole depth of the grind in there. And then you can come down here with the tip, and it comes down to a nice enough point that you can still get in here. You can just smooth and clean out. You can see that. So, go ahead and do my favorite thing. Finish this to a real fancy tin spike. I don't know why I said it was fancy, because it's not any fancier than any of the other ones I do. I guess because I didn't start it off as one, but I wanted to make one. Snap the middle off because that knot. Salvage mission now. You know, I'd say actually using that knot would hold pretty well. Alright. Something else I actually really like about this, I did have another purpose for notching this one out like that, is that when you're rounding the corners off, like I said, the handle's very comfortable. I wear between a large and an extra large glove. This particular model has some very light jimping on it, but I believe that most of the ones now do not. But it doesn't actually bother me on this one. If you're going to have it, that's the right amount of jimping to have if you're going to do it. It's not aggressive, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't need it, but if you're going to have it, it's not bad. But back to what I was saying, right here where it's just the blade is nice and wide is where I like to rest my thumb for just doing those little controlled pushes. And you still got the really fine bit of that tip where you can just do what you need to do with it. Or you can come down here and you've got even further, you got that belly, which I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little while to get used to the belly on this. It's just different than anything I've used before. I've used knives with a bit of sweep right here, or like the front of the blade kind of had that belly angle, I guess you could say. It really is nice. It just took me a little bit of getting used to. As you can see, once you play around with it, it's like any knife though. You just gotta use it and practice with it and get where you're comfortable with it. Just some final thoughts on the Jessmuk. It's a nice knife. Just gonna put that out there. This is the first LT Wright knives that I've ever worked with. Fit and finish is good. I believe it's 01 tool steel. Heat treat seems spot on because I've beat this through a lot, as you've seen some of, and the edge holds very well. I stropped it when I got it, and that was about all it needed. The handle is just very comfortable. It fits well. If you have a lanyard on it, it still sticks out. You're not gripping the lanyard all the time. If you want to 3-finger and just kind of do a little bit of chopping, I mean, it's not a big knife, but a little bit of just light chopping, craft chopping, something like that, it does very, very well. This grind bites into wood very deep. It took me a little bit of getting used to, like I said, to get used to that belly. Spine is sharp, as you've seen. Ergonomics are good. Plenty of room on the back. As I mentioned earlier, I would like a little bit, just a touch thicker. Not even much, maybe just 1/8 of an inch overall. Bigger around, I guess. Other than that, there's not a lot I would change about this knife. Now, while I was getting used to it, I just wanted a flat spot. I'm used to using knives that have a flat spot on them somewhere, and I wanted a flat spot on this knife. And as I got used to it, I really learned to appreciate the belly on both sides, as far as push cuts and things like that with the front and my whittling the way I like to do it. And then on the back, I really appreciate, like I said, especially for reverse. Let me just show that. I didn't really show that before. Just reverse, I guess, lever or something like that. Reverse grip, chest lever pull. There we go. I can't talk today, but eventually I'll figure it out. Just even for little stuff, if you're just wanting to get some of the thin pieces off, or you really just want to come in here and remove a lot of stock. I mean, that was like 4 pulls, and I got half of this stick off, and you can see, maybe, you can see it's wider than my thumb is. It's not really a small stick. And you just whittles it right down. Showed the whittling, talked about how I like that. Like I said, just back to the back to the final thoughts. This is a great knife. Thumb scallops are in the right place. Even when I choke up on it like this, keep my finger out of the way of the blade right there. It's very comfortable holding like this. I didn't skin anything with it, but I imagine with that belly and with the way you can just literally just grip the blade, I imagine this would make an excellent skinning knife. So, sorry, I got ants crawling up my leg. Sheath is good on that. Knife is excellent. If you're looking for something like this, and you're looking for a knife that can just do woodwork extremely well, this is an excellent knife. I did do a little bit of food prep with it, and it's a touch thick for that, and Scandi doesn't always do the best with, you know, vegetables or fruits. I did an apple, and it just kind of pushes the apple apart. But it's not really what this was designed for. Did it cut the food up? Yeah, it did better than I thought it would with meat. And I know I talk about doing food prep in most of my videos, and I don't show it. I really need to get my camera in the kitchen a little bit more. But anyways, it's a good knife. I don't know who this one is going to next, but I will leave a link to the Outdoor Arena's website down below, and Facebook page as well. You can follow anything that we're doing through its journey through the arena, and I'll leave some links down below for that. I don't know why I keep spinning this knife around. I guess I want you to continue to see it at all angles. This one is micarta scales. I don't think I mentioned that. Bead blasted, which is my preference on micarta. I like the grippiness. It's not as pretty as polished, but it does just, even when it's wet, this thing doesn't go anywhere. Just wanted to thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember to stay safe and be ready. And comment. Thank you. Have a good one. Just wanted to say thank you for watching. I'm going to hold the knife up here and not touch the edge. My hand's actually back, like this far from it. I'm going to put that in the bloopers.